Welcome back to Rides and Drives Team Radio. I am Kaz, and today I'm here with Harvey, but you are not in your normal setup. Harvey, where are you?
I am at America's National Park of Speed, Road America. I'm here for the Midwest Automotive Media Association Spring Rally. We have 27 manufacturers with 76 cars, I believe, about 80 journalists. We're driving on the track, the streets, off-road courses. I'm going to be posting some content from this on the socials. So, uh, look for some car review stuff, but that's not what we're here to talk about because we're yet another day closer to the Indy 500. And we thought it would be kind of fun to look at which drivers we think have the best chance of winning the race on Sunday. So, Kaz, why don't we kick it off with you with some of our sort of consensus picks?
Yeah, so my thoughts, and this is true every year for the Indy 500. You know, we touched on this on a previous podcast, but there's this notion that anybody can win the 500, and that's not strictly what you can't take that word for word. That's not
Right,
exactly true. The truth of the matter is that the right driver in the right car can win from anywhere on the grid. Now, I
right.
would say there are probably like five drivers for whom the vast bulk of the chance to win this race is going to. I would be really surprised if somebody outside of the five drivers we're going to talk about winds up taking home the race. I am a statistician. I am not, but I would say it's got to be somewhere like 85-90% chance that it's going to be one of these drivers. And then everybody else is just splitting that extra, and everybody has a different proportion. But I really think we're going to
Sure.
be seeing the checkered flag for one of these guys on Sunday, and I thought that we should talk about why. So, you know, let's just get it out of the way. Obviously, Alex Palou stands a good chance to win the Indy 500.
Yeah, he's starting from the pole. He's won the last cup. He's been on his usual winning ways this season. He's the reigning champion of the Indy 500. So yeah, let's put him on top of the list of the five people who can win this race. I think the next one on this list, and we talked
Well,
about
hold
this a
on.
little.
Before we move on,
Uh,
I do want to say about Alex, though, like in other races, Alex
mhm.
Palou from pole, like yeah, it's really likely he's going to wind up winning unless he makes a mistake. That's not true for this race, though. I've seen
Right,
so many people commenting on Reddit after qualifiers, and I even had a friend text me, so it's going to be Alex, right? And the thing about the Indy 500 is that it's such
yeah,
a long race and such a chaotic race. When people say the track chooses the winner, that is so correct. So
right.
while Alex does have a great chance to win, it's not like Alex starting from pole on a road course or even Alex starting from pole on a short oval. He has
Right.
a bigger chance to lose here than he usually does.
Right. Yeah, there's just so much that can happen. And yeah, well, you can't just hand someone the Indy 500 trophy. They have to go out there and earn it, and the track has to decide that it's your day.
Yeah,
So let's
she's got to
see
give it to you.
let's see how that plays out. We talked about, should Rossi be on this list or not? If it hadn't been for the crash, I think he would definitely be on this list. They're going to
Hmm.
rebuild the car. He's
Hmm.
going to be out there, but he has a cast on his wrist right now, right?
On his leg. So I saw a
Oh,
photo from Tuesday of him recording off track with his leg elevated in a cast. News reports are that he's getting it removed Wednesday. Look, Alex Rossi is a great driver. Alex Rossi has a history here. Alex Rossi is starting from the front row, but Alex Rossi had surgery, was in a cast, and is driving a fully rebuilt car. I just can't put him on that likely list anymore. All of those tiny, exclude the physical challenges because I've seen people under great pressure rise to the occasion in that way and ignore pain for 3 hours so that they can win. Ignore that. Every minuscule change that they've made to the car based on his feedback throughout this last month, sure they wrote it down and they're
right.
going to attempt to get everything exactly the same, but that's just a huge ask, and when you combine that with the physical challenges, I just don't think he's got a great shot anymore. I couldn't be more bummed about that, by the way, because I was
Right.
so looking forward to rooting for him.
And they only have a couple hours to dial it in on Friday. So,
Mhm.
let's feel sad about that, but I think the next person we have to look at is Malukas. He qualified third. He's been the fastest Penske car. He's been the most consistent Penske car. He has done well in this race, and now with a top tier team, maybe it's his year to claim an Indy 500 title.
David Malukas has been flirting with that first race win a couple of times this season. I kind of like him to win this race. Actually, I like him a lot to win this race. He's spectacular on ovals. He's been good for Penske on all track types, but he's
Right.
spectacular on ovals and he's known for it. And that was kind of the talk, right? Was that Penske was bringing him in specifically for that. Um, it's not unlike the a driver has gotten their first win at the Indy 500 on a couple of occasions, and
Right.
it's just something. I don't know. Maybe I just like the story so much that I'm pretending there's some destiny here, but it just feels good. It feels like something the track would choose.
Sure. Who do you want to go to next?
Yeah, I think next let's talk about Pato Awards. Speaking of rebuilt cars, Pato is always a contender to win the 500, right? But
Right.
with the car rebuild, after qualifying, every chat we had with him, he was still really happy with his race trim. He was frustrated with his qualifying trim, couldn't get the car to feel quite right,
Right.
but he said the race trim is great. We're not worried about it. So you got to think he's looking great, except I think his chances are a little bit lower than they would have been for the same reason Rossi, just because he is also going to be driving a
Yeah.
fully rebuilt car that he only has a little bit of time to dial in. I think he is more likely to win than Rossi, though, because
Right.
first of all, he's not coming off of a medical procedure. And I I don't mean to say Rossi doesn't want it, but I
No.
can't think of a person in the world who wants it more than Pato Award.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's come close so many times.
Mhm.
The McLaren team wants this very badly.
It's been
We
like
know
50 years
we
for
know
them,
that
right?
Chevys are strong at this track. If they can get the car dialed in on Friday, I think he has as good a shot as anybody, given where he's starting from and given his talent. So I think we definitely have to look at him. I think the next one on the list, and you and I kind of disagree about this, so maybe we should debate these two.
Yeah, let's
Um,
let's do that.
for number four, I think Scott McLaughlin. I think he has a great shot. This is again a great story considering what happened to him last year. If he could come back and win this year, wow, that would be, it'd be a great story. He certainly has the talent to do it. He certainly has the car to do it. He certainly has the drive to do it. Will the track give it to him?
Yeah, and that's the big question, right? So I don't dislike Scott McLaughlin to win, but I don't have him in my five most likely drivers. If for no other reason, then I can't put all three Penske cars, and I have to put Joseph Newgarden on my list of five drivers. I
Even at
know
23.
I know. I know he's starting 23rd, but if he had not gotten scooped up by an incident last year, he would have been fighting for the win starting 32nd.
Right.
This place loves Joseph Newgarden and he loves it back. I just think that he is likely to win from anywhere he starts. His attitude after his qualifying run when he knew he wasn't making the fast 12. I mean, he didn't obviously Joseph Newgarden wants pole,
Right.
but the best description of his attitude was unbothered.
Yeah.
He's just ready to get out there from wherever he starts. And now he knows how much work he's going to have to do. That's fine. He said he's going to be patient, going to be methodical, going to be fast.
Right.
I believe him. I
And
think he could win this race even starting from 23rd.
okay. And then a fifth car. Say we have to pick a fifth car. Who do you have?
I think it's got to be Felix Rosenquist. I've been going
Yeah.
back and forth on this,
Yep.
but one slightly less good Fast Six performance at the end of an otherwise spectacular weekend of driving from him doesn't take him out of contention for the win for me. He's been happy with that car.
Right.
The team is confident in him, and I just think he's carrying himself like a guy who's ready to win this race.
I agree with you. I think Felix has looked strong. I think Meyer Shank has looked strong. I think as a team they have really come together. Um, and their experience not just in IndyCar but in other series, I think lends a level of professionalism to them
Mm.
that maybe separates them a bit from some of the other teams that we talk about as, I hate to call it mid-pack, but they're not the Penske, Andretti McLaren. Um, but then again, speaking of Andretti, we don't have them in here at all.
No, I don't. No, I don't have an Andretti driver in my very likely to win this race list. And I'm going to tell you why right now. They look, they said they're happier with their car in race trim. They're happy
Right,
with their car without the boost. But even in practices before they turned the boost on, they were sitting, mid range in terms of
right,
speed. They were sitting at 15th, 17th, 20th. I know that practice is not exactly a clear one-to-one of what your race pace is going to look like, but I
right.
just are they unless they've been sandbagging a little bit and
I
Kyle's a
wouldn't put
great
it past
driver.
them, but
Yeah, I mean maybe not. I don't know,
yeah,
but I
I,
don't think so.
they
Kyle's a great
certainly
driver.
yeah,
Will can win here.
yep,
Marcus can and has,
yeah.
they
They
have
can,
two Indy 500 winners here, but I think without the car and you have to look to Will for this because he's the most honest. I
right,
don't think anything he said post qualifying gave me the impression that it wasn't like when Joseph came off,
yep,
where he's, yeah, okay, whatever, this is where it is. It was a little bit more, yeah, we've got some work to do to figure it out.
sure,
And I think that Will would behave differently if he thought he had a race winning car under him.
yep. So who's your long shot? Out of the top
Oh,
five, who are you going to pick as this is a wild card that, would be a great story and maybe does have a real shot at winning?
I'm toying with two. I think that there are two drivers outside of that, like really likely top five, six, who stand a shot that is at least, mathematically relevant. So I'll go with one, and I'm betting you're gonna pick the other. I'll take Connor Daly.
And
I
I'm going to
he
take Takuma Sato.
exactly.
Right. Yeah, those are the two that jump out to me.
Mhm.
Daly because this means so much to him. Takuma because he's been there, done that. He's looked fast. He's always racy. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. What is your reason for picking Connor?
Okay. He loves this race. He has something to prove here. He would ideally like a full-time drive. You can't say no to last season's Indy 500 winner. You just
Right.
can't. So he really, I mean, almost more than anybody has something truly on the line to race for in that sense. Um, you cannot discount how much crowd and energy matters. And this is a hometown race for Connor Daly. Indiana loves him.
Right.
I'm going to a fantasy Indy 500 draft at a bar I attend. Everybody just gets to pick one driver. I think Connor Daly is going to go way higher than a lot of guys who I think have a
A better
stronger chance
chance.
to win than he does because he is so very, very popular here. And all of that together is great and important. But beyond that, he looked fast on Sunday of
Yep.
last week. The dryer Reinbold in general has looked like a reliable machine, with the exception of some stupid, weird mistake with some hardware. I think,
Yeah.
and on not even Connor's car, I think he's got maybe his best chance ever to win this race,
Yeah.
and it could happen. I don't see it being super duper likely,
Right.
but
And
it
and
would
and
not blow me away.
yeah, and I think the same with Sato. I mean, we look at RLL. They Graham was certainly disappointed with his performance. The other cars were not as solid, but he managed to put that car in a decent position in qualifying, right? So I
And it's
think,
with him,
yeah,
it's really important to note too that he qualified 29th. He went out in some of the worst conditions and he just barely missed out on the Fast 12. I do think he could have been in right
Yeah,
in there if he had qualified earlier. And
right,
then everything resets for the Fast 12. This guy may have been toward the front, but
right.
for like a hundredth of a second and a few degrees on track.
Yeah. So I think Takuma brings all that experience. He is just one of those drivers with great precision. I like him as a long shot dark horse to win this race.
I do too. If I hadn't have taken Connor, I would have taken him. I always liked Takuma Sato to win this race. It's clear how much he loves it, and it was clear talking to him pre-qualifying that he feels more confidence in the car than he ever has from RLL.
Right.
So great.
Well,
He looked great last year with less confidence. Let's see what happens now.
let's see what happens. Well, I'm here at Road America for the next 2 days, and I'm going to hop in a Lucid Gravity and drive down to Indianapolis, where Kaz and I will spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the track. We will be bringing you a full podcast on Friday, talking about what we think in more detail about the upcoming weekend. And obviously, we'll do a post race podcast as well. Stay tuned to the socials because we're going to be posting a lot of stuff. I'm going to be posting stuff from here. There are a few cars I want to get some time in. I just drove the new Acura Integra with a 6-speed manual transmission in that. So that was fun. Had a Mazda Miata out on the track, but they have a couple of other fun track cars here that I'm going to go run. So stay tuned.
Can I request a one lap onboard video?
I'll see if I can pull that off. I don't have a mount for my phone or camera, but I'll see if I can borrow someone's and get
Yeah,
that
you're in
done.
a track full of journalists. Someone's got a camera mount.
Someone will loan me there. So let's go do it.
All right, you guys, follow Harvey_drives, Fast Car Kaz, and Rides and Drives Team Radio on whatever social media channel you prefer. And do not forget to subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much for joining us. And we cannot wait to talk to you from the track on Friday, Carb Day at IMS.
For Rides and Drives Team Radio, I'm Harvey. She's Kaz, and we're out.
Drive safe, everybody.